Hello again. We're here with the flagship offering of Jim Beam, the white label. As you can read, it's marketed as the world's finest bourbon. Beside it, just for demonstration purposes, is the already reviewed Jim Beam Double Aged 8-year. So we know this is a 4-year, even though it doesn't say it. It's a straight, so we know it's at least 4. It is 4. And you can see the difference in coloration, I would imagine, between the 4 and the 8. The 8 is a much darker color, as you would expect from this. I'm always interested in marketing, and so it's fascinating to me. This is the more expensive bourbon, by most accounts, although we'll see, the better bourbon. But this is the one that's marketed as the world's finest. That's interesting to me. So let's have at the Jim Beam, the most popular bourbon in America. I believe it may be the most popular in the world. Although I think if you go worldwide, you have to. It depends on whether or not you count Jack Daniels. I believe Jack may be more popular, despite it being more expensive. Which I would think would say a lot. I poured quite a bit there. Interestingly enough, this is also bottled at a lower proof. The black is at 86 proof. This is at 80 proof. Interesting. And so, I have never had this straight. I'm imagining I've had it in cocktails, although I'm not a cocktail drinker in general. I like my whiskey straight. I have opinions on what go well in certain cocktails. Like I've said, Maker's goes well at eggnog. Jack goes well in Coke. I don't know what Jim Beam goes well in. So let's get a smell. I mean, it smells like Jim Beam. I mean, not surprisingly, but since we reviewed Jim Beam has that kind of caramel-y thing. And that kind of dull, almost kind of difficult to place kind of caramel spice kind of thing going on. And this certainly does as well. First sip. Inoffensive. Hard to describe. Caramel evaporates very rapidly. Not horrible. Has kind of a bad, kind of a taste. You get aftertaste isn't all that good. You get a little spice, and then something kind of sticks in the back of your throat. Let's cut that a little bit. Just to see. Just not much there. I get this kind of overall kind of there's a slight bitter there. This goes very fast off the tongue. Very fast. As far as your tongue doesn't tingle very much, and the flavor kind of evaporates. The main thing you would note is, compared to the 8-year, a lot less of the spice notes that we talked about in the 8-year. Those are probably coming from the barrel. Some of the cinnamon notes, although you would expect the rye to add some of that. A lot less going on. The same. You can certainly tell it's from the same family because you've got that overall kind of vague sweetness. It's better than I expected it would be. I don't think it's quite as good as the Four Roses I reviewed, although it's cheaper than the Four Roses. It's very dull. I could see why this would be one. I can see this would be one you would use in cocktails. But not horrifying, not bad. You certainly can drink this. I mean, I'm not offended by it. This costs $5 more. I think it's worth the price. Although, again, I think there's whiskeys that are a little bit better. Certainly, I even think I personally like Devil's Cut a little bit more. But this isn't, you know, this isn't crap. You can certainly see that they're not. They haven't chinched on their ingredients. Whatever they do at Jim Beam, you can tell they do it fairly quality because it doesn't, even at this kind of young age, it's got some good notes. It's just gone very fast. You kind of get this nice you get that caramel, a little sweet with just a hint of spice there. And then it's kind of sticks, then there's kind of this aftertaste that kind of hangs in there that I don't particularly like. Not horrifying, but not fantastic either. This is I don't know. I mean, I could see getting this. Short on money. You still want some bourbon. This wouldn't be a bad option. Because I think you can get the 1.75. Now you can tell this is actually a very small. This is a 0.375. I believe, if I look, that it's 375 milliliters. Oh, wait, it does have an age statement. This whiskey is 4 years old. And so they make it clear exactly how old it is. Good. And again, bourbon has kind of that Scotch color, which isn't typical for bourbons because, again, as we've discussed, bourbon is usually a lot darker than Scotch if it's been aged properly, aged enough. You can see the potential that I think is there in the 8-year. And Jim Beam does a good job on the 8-year. They do a good job on the Devil's Cut. They do a good job on several of their whiskeys. This is just kind of there. It's going to go well on things. But if you are in the mood for a bourbon and you've got Jim Beam in stock, I guess you can sip on this. Weak recommendation. This is not a great one, but you can see why it's so popular, at the very least. And that's about all I can think you can see. It's that, yeah, I can see why this is popular, but that's about it. Anyway, that's all I got. Cheers till next time. I'll see ya.